ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to New Life Kickstart office here in Bowtree, where actually I have somebody very special for your attention. I have my dearest friend Ishea, who is also happens to be an event organizer and a fitness coach. Ishea, would you like to introduce yourself?
Alright, well hi everyone, my name is Ishea. Like Olga said, I'm an event planner. I do wedding planning, event planning, and I also do fitness coaching, training women how to take care of their bodies, good health and good shape as well.
How amazing is that? And actually the reason why we wanted to do this video with you was to share the power and importance of early morning routine.
That's right.
Because for the entire year we were doing power morning. Every morning, or sorts of every morning. Sometimes we were guilty, let's face it, let's be honest. Sometimes, including this morning, we didn't have one. Okay? But it just shows we are human beings, we are. Yeah, but do you remember how we started?
I remember how we started Power Morning. It was your initiative. And I remember having the conversation about how most successful people wake up really early in the morning, and this wasn't my thing until I met you. And so you introduced the idea of Power Morning, starting off the morning with good intention of the day ahead, speaking of your dreams, your gratitudes, all that kind of thing. And I remember our very first Power Morning, if you remember, I was like a deer in the headlights because this was new to me, the whole waking up early thing, and also the whole concept of actually verbally dreaming or verbally saying what's going on for the day, because most of the time, you know, we all have stuff going on in the day, but we don't actually verbalize it to anybody. It just happens as the day goes along. So it was a very new concept for me, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this.
That's true. Actually, when I started my Power Mornings a while ago, it was also very new to me. And quickly I realized that it's so powerful. As we said a few times, then when you were away and then I was away, and we didn't do it because of the time difference. But majority of the time we actually did do our Power Mornings. And the difference in your day, difference in your energy, in how productive you are, is just next level, right?
Next level. And like you said, yeah, you notice it a lot more when we don't have Power Morning.
Yes.
You notice like, okay, things aren't as good as they could be.
Yes.
And why is that? And for a long time, it took me a while to realize that it's because I didn't have Power Morning. You know, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't set my intentions for the day.
Yes.
Verbally with somebody, and even writing it down, you know. So yeah, you're right.
It's crazy. Who would imagine that actually from meeting at networking event, that's a power of networking.
Yeah.
Because we met in Sheffield at Elite Network.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, we met there, got up for a chat. I think you came here all the way to Bowtree, went for lunch. We had amazing lunch. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. It's how our friendship and the whole entire story of Power Morning started.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
What do you think was the most valuable thing from the entire hour Power Morning routine? Because we spent a good half an hour.
So I don't know if you've noticed this, but ever since we started Power Morning up until now, we've added categories. We've added categories of things, and I think that for me has been the most valuable, and kind of looking at my life on a daily basis, or looking at my goals and kind of seeing that, okay, we need to add certain things that are, you know, a part of our day. Like for example, we incorporated talking about our fears.
Yes.
And I know at some point we'll talk about what we do in Power Morning, but one of the things we incorporated was talking about our fears. So, you know, just those little elements were really valuable, not just to make it kind of like this rigid structure, but we added a personal touch to whatever is going on with us individually. And it kind of supporting each other through that. So that was quite valuable for me, I think.
Oh, I see.
What about you?
For me, I think the most valuable thing, because about talking about different areas in life, I do it on a daily basis with my clients. And as I do it with them, I always question myself as well. Because obviously as they evaluate it, I'm thinking, what about me? How is my finances now? How is my relationship now? So I got used to kind of reflect back on my different areas of my life, and also with my journaling, I do the same thing. But for me, the most valuable thing was actually the goal after goal. Is seeing that growth where actually I could imagine myself getting through all these power mornings and also breaking them down little chunks, and okay, I will do this today towards my goal, and then we have the goal after goal, which made the original goal just like a step. That was the most valuable, just to be comfortable with the goal after goal, because our goals after goals, they are quite big.
Very big.
And we're gonna touch up on this, about this in a minute, what happened actually, and to prove it actually works, we're gonna talk about this. But for me, that was the most valuable thing, because I had to almost like to grow into those shoes, which are too big for me, but I need to grow into those shoes and be comfortable saying that. That was the most valuable thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. I realize that it's probably a good idea to explain to people what Power Morning is and what we have in our Power Morning.
Yes.
Absolutely. So go ahead, since you introduced it to me, you can introduce it to me.
Okay, so what is Power Morning? Power Morning is actually when you do certain number of activities, I guess. Number of activities could be, for some people it's meditation, with running, with doing a bit of yoga. For us, our Power Morning includes sorts of questions. I think we have 8 of them, probably 8 of them, whereas we in turns give answers to each other. And sometimes what we do, we actually push each other. So it's almost like coaching on daily basis, which was extremely powerful. So in general, what Power Morning does to you, it actually boosts your energy. It also helps you to believe, if you obviously do this, what we did, the verbal version of Power Morning, it helps you to believe in your dreams, in yourself. It helps you to deal with your issues, if, for example, you choose to work on your issues. Basically, it's like everyday self-help, which is so crucially important, because how often actually, let's face it, the first question what we answer, what was your amazing thing from yesterday or from the weekend? How often do we actually reflect today on our yesterday?
Exactly. How often do you do that? Barely ever. Yeah.
We don't. And because we have this question first thing in the morning, how are you? What was your amazing thing from yesterday? And sometimes, do you remember, we had to think, oh, what happened yesterday? Oh, what happened over the weekend? Because there's so many things, but you need to find that most amazing thing and be grateful for that. And we also have the gratitude.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it starts with what was your amazing thing yesterday, which, you know, I just wanted to mention that we often are always looking at the future, right?
Yes.
We're barely ever in the present.
Yeah.
And we barely ever remember the past, right?
Absolutely.
So that hence the, oh, what did we do yesterday? And so it's a nice reflection to be like, okay, actually, yesterday wasn't such a bad day. Like, it wasn't so bad. This amazing thing happened, you know? And we range the amazing thing from something as small as somebody smiled to me today, or as big as I received money, you know, all those things. And, you know, just that reflection kind of like mentally prepares you for, okay, yesterday wasn't so bad, so today's going to be great. Right? And then we move into, like you said, the gratitude. So talking about what we're grateful for, which tends to be what happened yesterday sometimes.
Yes, it happens exactly, because there's always more than one situation which happened to you yesterday. Absolutely. That's very true.
The gratitudes are great because we do 3 gratitudes of things that are current or that have happened that we're grateful for. And then of course the favorite part for me is actually what are you grateful for as if it's already happened. So something that's coming in the future. And I guess that is law of attraction in action, isn't it, really?
It is. It is. Because do you remember how actually in the beginning we were just saying that? And I was said, no, let's make it more juicy. Because when we say normal gratitude, let's say, oh, I'm grateful for, and sometimes like, oh, it's sunshine today.
Yes.
Because living in England, we are grateful for sunshine, let's face it.
We are, especially yesterday.
Yes, exactly. Or sometimes like, oh, we're so grateful for having a car. Because you look at people who actually walk down the street and you feel sorry for them. Okay, some of them, they choose to walk because it's a healthy walk, but some people, they don't have even a vehicle. And you think, let's be grateful for some simple things like that. But because you relieve them, because you really face them, you know what it feels like. It's so much easier to share 4th gratitude as your dream, which already happened. And when we start adding those emotions and those feelings, it becomes almost like a story. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating.
It's amazing. It's
crazy.
It's great. I love it because I don't know, it's that one opportunity you get to just really almost live your dream in the present.
Yeah,
You know,
every day.
every single day you're
Every
living
single
that
day.
dream,
Yeah,
and you know it's coming true with each powerful word that you release from your mouth.
absolutely. Yeah, and because we say, I am so and so, I had sometimes feeling, honestly, all over my body, goosebumps, because it was so powerful. And especially when you say something big, for example, for me, it was, you remember at the beginning, I was like, I am international speaker. I am international speaker. So from 8th of November, I'm saying I am international speaker. And then in January, boom, I got booked.
I am an international speaker.
Yes, and I remember our power morning, and I'm saying, so what was the amazing thing from yesterday? I received a booking for international talk. And when I was saying I am an international speaker, I realized that, okay, it was supposed to happen in September, so I had to wait for 9 months. But still, it was like, oh my God, now I have to come up with something else because it happened. And it was a feeling of, it happened. And it was slightly emptiness because what's next? And I was so grateful. We always spoke about goal after goal,
Right.
because that was like, now, that's it. I didn't have that emptiness for longer than probably half a minute as I was reflecting on that. But it replaced really quickly the emptiness with, oh, I have my goal after goal. So next step. So I wasn't really upset with that. I was double happy, let's put it this way.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it?
It's really amazing.
It's pretty amazing. And I guess for me as your accountability partner, and for you as well as mine, you know, just seeing kind of like the growth and the development since we started, you know, all these almost dreams coming true in the space of a year, you know, just by that practice of believing and, you know, constantly kind of speaking your dreams into existence and just seeing it all manifest is amazing. You know, as your accountability partner, I've really just enjoyed watching your journey and mine as well, every single morning.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is such a joy, actually, yes. Especially when you say, I'm gonna do this today, and then sometimes there were days when none of us did anything. But still, it is a feeling that there is somebody who's gonna ask, and there is somebody who's gonna report, and also there's somebody who's gonna share the next steps, the next progress. So it is really powerful. What about your fourth gratitude? What exactly happened in your life as a result of saying, I am grateful for?
So I think for me the biggest breakthrough in terms of future goals, dreams, for me was my personal development. And I think we've had this conversation, you know, I think, and you could tell from when we started Power Morning, I wasn't as kind of developed as I am within myself personally. So that means that like just the way I see myself, the way I run my businesses, the way I interact with people, the things I understand, the wisdom, the knowledge that I have now has developed so much over the past year. And, you know, again, without Power Morning, without having you to kind of reflect this from, I never would have realized this. Because, you know, sometimes we learn and we grow as people and we develop, but we don't realize this because you're living your everyday almost like looking at more kind of material goals or tangible goals, but, you know, just that personal development of, wow, I've grown in confidence, you know, I handle myself in a certain way now than I did before. My business is now in a different place to where it was, and of course money.
Yes.
I think you know, one of the things I wanted to develop in myself is kind of like learning how to manifest money and become a lot more comfortable and have a better relationship with money. And I've seen such a huge difference since we started up until now. You know, now in my Power Mornings, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm a money magnet. You know, and I really am. Like every single day, I see myself like receiving money in different ways. And you know, it's not necessarily that I did anything outside of myself besides develop myself, develop my mindset, develop my relationship with money and with myself as well. So that's something that's been quite powerful for me in terms of goal after goal, and you know, your fourth gratitude, as you said.
Yes. No, I think you've done a really fascinating journey personally. That's my personal opinion, because observing you from a side actually and hearing what you were saying and how I don't want to use the phrase small thinking, but comparing to where you are now and the first mornings, it was like, come on, girl, you can do better than that.
Yeah.
And I can see the huge difference, actually, the way how you express yourself, how big you go in your goal after goal, and actually, and what you say is really crazy. And with money, absolutely, honestly, these girls, she's just rocking. Every day, it seems like every day you say, oh, money came to me from here, or you called your insurance company and they dropped the price, even though you changed something and then the price dropped. Seems like every day these girls, she's rocking. She says every day money's coming to me. But it only shows that when you really have a focus on something, it's there. It's really there. So you really, really manifested, I think, this big thing about money, that's for sure. Because for you, it was like, yeah, I just started my business, where are gonna go, what are you gonna do? And from this, like, I'm not sure girl, going to a woman who is attracting money in a year time.
Pretty powerful stuff.
It is, absolutely.
Stuff, yeah.
Thank you, Power Mornings.
Thank you, Power Mornings.
Absolutely.
And of course, one of the categories we have in Power Morning is money circulation, right?
Yes.
So money circulation is basically where each morning we receive £1,000 and we spend it. And I think that helped as well with my own personal development and my own kind of relationship with money and abundance, and kind of learning that, okay, have that mindset of money is coming every single day. How do you spend it, right? Because what happens is most of the time we all want money, right? I wish I had more money. If I had money, I'd do this, that. But actually, what would you do with that money? What would you do with that money? Say somebody was to give you your dream amount of money, what would you do with it? And most of us, actually, you'd almost kind of struggle and choke and be like, oh, actually, but you know, getting into that kind of vibration of, okay, money is always coming, how can I spend it, how can I invest it, how can I do this, how can I do that, was pretty powerful. And I think now we're on 148,000.
We are.
So which
148,000.
we've done Power Mornings 148 times.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, that's a lot of times.
It is, yes, because we have 365 days in a year, but obviously minus 52 weekends, that's already 104 days. Plus, obviously, you were on holidays and I was on holidays, and with time difference, we didn't really bother to do it because that would be a bit like, for you, power morning, for me, like evening morning.
Yeah.
Evening power, power evening.
Power night.
Yeah, power night. Imagine being all pumped up. Sleep time.
Yeah, exactly.
That wouldn't work. Yeah, so we had to miss some of the weeks really, and actually we could feel it. But same time, you're right. Yes, that means we did 147 times, and I remember, because I also was doing this money circulation before, so I knew what's coming. I knew that, and I was waiting for you to say it. But even though I knew what's coming, still, when we went, I think, over threshold of 100 or something, I was like, yeah, why can't we spend it?
Yeah.
It becomes harder because when you think, yeah, give me more money, I know we're gonna spend, but yes, we bought everything. We bought like handbags and jewelry and all these little things which you can buy up to what, like 10,000? That will went 11, then 15, then 20, and you still buy things because you're still hungry, and then you hit 15, you think, pretty much bought everything. Right? You pretty much bought everything. Then we went into properties, we went into cars, and then we just changed. Oh no, you know what? I'm gonna change my car today. Oh, you know what? No, I'm gonna buy a house for mom, and you were buying houses in Zimbabwe, I was buying houses in Latvia, and then Spain and Portugal, and then, right, okay, we bought so many properties now. What else? But it just shows that if realistically money would come every day, like today 100,000, next day you would have 101,000, and the next day you would have 102,000, and you have to spend it all. Like, we couldn't save it. No, we had to spend it all.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that was challenging.
It was very, very challenging, but it definitely triggers that abundance abundance mindset that
Yes.
everyone's always working on, it definitely
Yeah.
definitely triggers that, because when you have everything, you are abundant, and your
Yes.
mind just starts thinking that way,
Yeah.
even with small everyday things. Yeah, fine, you know, it's not literal money that we have, but it's just that mindset, that framework of, okay, well, now today in this power morning I've, you know, got 148,000, but in this day that I'm about to live, let me also focus on an abundance mindset with my clients in business, with my friends, with whatever it is that I'm doing, you know. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I remember that time when actually you say, "Ooh, that's too much money," and it just shows where is your limit, right?
Right.
I don't remember the exact number, but I remember the day when I said to myself, "Oh, that's too much money," and I think, is it really too much? But is it really?
Is it really?
Exactly. That's a good question. But I'm sure all of us, we have this moment where we think, "Oh, that's too much." But it's not. It just simply shows where is your limit, where you subconsciously limit yourself. And because you limit yourself at that level, that's why more is not coming. Because that's your ceiling.
That's right.
That's it. And that's why more is not coming, because you've reached your ceiling. And that was really fascinating to go through that and still think, no, I want more. And no, I will find a place where I'm going to invest this money, what I'm going to buy. And I think we even bought cryptocurrency with that.
Yeah. Bought a lot.
But literally.
Bought a lot. We have.
Yes, we did. We really
Yeah.
did. What was the next thing?
So after money circulation, we do
Goal after goal.
Goal after goal.
Yes.
Which is pretty. It's kind of similar to kind of like your fourth gratitude, isn't it?
It is, but bigger.
But bigger.
Yeah.
Yes, way
Yeah.
bigger. And yeah, I think within the year, some of our goal after goals have happened, haven't they? To a certain extent, or have started to kind of like get in that direction.
Definitely, yes. For example, my traveling, which I spent a month being away for work, I realized that that was always my goal after goal. Because I used to say that I want to travel, I want to be away, I want to be at events, and I want to work with clients, which I did. I want to wake up and go for a walk and then have breakfast, 2 pound morning. And then when I was actually doing that, I was thinking, I wish that would be my dream. And I'm like slowly kind of stepping out of my matrix, realizing, hello, you do live your dream now. And that was such a hell of a shock. It really was, because it was quite hard to realize that no, it's not a dream anymore. That's your reality. But because I was saying that for so long, it almost became that it's somewhere there. You know, it lives up there in a cloud where it will happen one day. So when this one day happened, I was like, uh-oh.
It's here.
It's here. And that was boom. It hit me. It really hit me, and I realized, I like it. Because how often you get somewhere and you think, I always wanted this, but actually it's not what I wanted.
Right.
So for me, it was like, ooh, I like it.
Right.
Give me more.
Right. Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. I remember having that conversation with you as well when you returned from your travels, and you're like, this is it, like this is exactly what it is, you know. And it's a surreal feeling of, oh, we went from talking about this for 6 months to it actually manifesting.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, now we speak about this, I think only now I realized how powerful it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I did think about this before, because we were planning this as well. I was looking forward to this, but only now I realized how powerful it is. That how big is that how. Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah. I think earlier we spoke about adding more categories. So one of the categories that we added was our fear. So I think we decided to add this category because we realized that we're powering through these mornings and powering through these days, but you know, as you're going about your day, you have certain fears or certain limiting beliefs or even certain tasks that you have to do in your day that kind of like hold you back. So why not use this opportunity to have a conversation about it. But the really good thing actually that we did was it wasn't just about, or it isn't just about talking about your fear, but you also confront it and see, okay, how do I overcome this?
Yeah.
Is it as big as I'm making it out in my head?
Yeah.
And again, the power of power morning is when you verbalize things, you realize, wait a minute, it's not that bad. It's actually manageable. It's actually, you know, something that I can do.
Yeah.
And it's not actually a fear. I'm bigger than whatever this fear
There we go.
is, right?
There we go.
So I think I remember once we had fear of like calling people to, you know, find out information or something as small as that. And then when you actually talk about it, you're like, well, wait a minute. Why am I afraid to pick up the phone and just ask? You know, why am I afraid to ask a question? It's just a question. What's the worst that somebody can do asking a question? And when we kind of started confronting it, it's like, oh, why are you so scared of that? So that was pretty powerful as well. That's pretty amazing because yeah.
I definitely must admit that this section, adding what our fear is, I think gave me so much strength. Because every day you have to find something else what you fear of, and you have to, as you said, not only face it, but also discuss how you're gonna fight with that, how you're gonna replace it with the empowering beliefs or empowering stories, and sometimes even actions, what we're gonna do. And I remember one of the biggest fears for me was to go to social media. Even though I had so much content and within sessions with my clients, I knew I can share a lot. But for me, social media was something like, oh, I don't want to look like I'm showing off. I don't want to sound like, oh yeah, everybody will know I'm not British, what they're gonna think of me. Even though I don't mind that, I know it's my uniqueness having the accent, but it was one of those things where you think, yeah, but do you want to bother? And that third thing was like, who gonna watch that all? Who on earth gonna watch that all? Will it be even valuable? And things like that. And when actually I pushed myself, when I faced that fear, if you remember, and I said, you know what, I just will do it. And that's it, that was blunt decision. I will just do it. I will just share as much value as I can. What I can do, I can just gather everything I know and just put it out there. People don't like it, they don't like it. If they like it, that's great. And if you remember, I was calling you on a few occasions during our power mornings, and I was like, oh my God. Because actually what happened, instead of getting that hate or getting that bullying or getting something else what I was expecting, I was thinking gonna happen in my world, I was getting the opposite. I was receiving, I remember one day I received something like, I think 369 LinkedIn invitations. And I had something like 145 messages. And I was like, I can't even keep up with that. But messages were like, oh my God, I love your content. I received a message saying, Olga, you're my idol. What? Idol? I'm somebody else's idol? Olga, I love your videos. I received literally recently a message saying, Olga, I follow you on Instagram, I follow you on Facebook, I follow you on LinkedIn, I follow you everywhere. I just follow you on YouTube. I love what you do. And for me, especially from a girl who came from such a background, you know, from Latvia and being bullied at school and not having the childhood, it was almost that global love, global acceptance, which honestly boosted my confidence. It really did. Even though people who know me, they would never doubt my confidence. And I heard so often like, Olga, you are so confident. Yeah, the way I look is not always how I feel, right? Two different things. But same time, it gave me that global love because people were from around the world. And I realized that sharing is good. And what I was sharing is everyday stuff. I was never bragging about anything. I was never, you know, like some people say like, oh, look at me doing this and that. It was always about, I'm just about to go give value. I'm just about to deliver this, or we just discussed this and this would happen. But it was always with the thought of the listener, always with the thought of somebody who will read this and will get inspired. And I must tell you, I think out of all fears we ever shared, this was the most, how do I put it? The biggest fear, which was really strong with me. Because I was really fearful to go out there on social media to face, you know, the globe. What about you? What was your biggest fears out of all what we shared?
The biggest fear. I've come a long way with a lot of my fears. I'd probably say, I don't know if you remember the beginning stages, like I mentioned before, just the fear of kind of like putting myself out there.
Yes.
You know, the fear of kind of like trying something and it failing or it not
Yes,
working out
actually,
or
yes.
it not happening how I expected or how I imagine it to happen. And yeah, just kind of facing that fear and seeing that again, it is really just a fear. Like I am capable of doing whatever I want to do. I have everything available to me, all resources available to me, and yeah, just overcoming that and having a good grip on that, and just, you know, it's developed me so much in a way that like now, yes, I still have fears, of course, but it is a conversation that I now have in my mind before I decide not to do something because of this fear. I think to myself, think about this. Why are you not doing it? Why are you not asking? Why are you not posting that? Why are you not doing this? And you know, once at least you start having that conversation, it changes the results. So in the end, you actually think to yourself, yeah, why am I not doing it? Let me just do it. Let me just ask. Let me just post it. So yeah, so for me, it's just, it triggered that question that I never used to have, because I used to just always think, oh, it's a fear. Yeah, I'm scared of that. I'm not going to do it. But now it's like, wait, why aren't you going to do it? And then boom,
yes,
you do it.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
Because imagine we didn't add this category straight away.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was somewhere down the line of 6 months or 7 maybe even.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, but even let's imagine we did only half of the power mornings.
Mm-hmm.
So 148 we did 74 times.
Mm-hmm.
74 times you face your fear. 74 times you think about, oh, why am I still scared of that? And then you come up with a new fear, because did I tell you? I think I told you about this. That after all the social media started, at some point I felt quite overwhelmed because it was so much. And I remember at some point thinking, will I be able to keep up with that? Will I be able to cope with that? Because now people are demanding me. Now people want to see me, hear me, talk to me, invite me everywhere. And it felt like, oh my God, it was really overwhelming. And my next fear was like, who can I live with that? And that was something that I had to face as well. So I think as we live our lives and we develop ourselves, I think our fears get developed as well. Because the bigger you become, if your business grows, then you have other fears. If you're single, now you're with a partner, now you have different fears. And you have child, now you have other fears. And I think we always develop ourselves, but we also develop our fears. And we already, let's face it, we dealt with 74 fears.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's really, really cool.
It is.
It's very, very cool. Yeah. Yeah.
How about the category which is the task for the day?
The goal for the day, yes. So this is one of those ones where there have been a couple of occasions where goals haven't been met. But I think one thing I have learned is that even if you don't manage to achieve something that you set out to achieve today, there's always tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. It didn't happen today, but it can happen tomorrow, or the day after, or whenever. But yeah, again, just being able to foresee and almost, as they say, create your day, and decide that, okay, today I want to achieve this. Today I want to contact so and so, or today I want to, I know you always have your speaking engagements and you want to perfect your presentations and stuff like that, and just kind of like putting that intention for the 24 hours ahead.
Yes,
it's great. And for me, it actually helps me to, and I always say this to everybody, is that like focus on the 24 hours ahead. Especially when it comes to a lot of like my fitness clients. I say this all the time because everybody's so worried about, oh, what if I can't eat healthily for the rest of my life? I'm like, let's focus on these 24 hours, this bite-sized chunk. Let's focus on that, set a goal for that, do that, and then tomorrow is another 24 hours. And if you look at life that way, and if you live your life that way, it's a lot more rewarding for you personally, because you are living in a moment, because we cannot control what's happened before, and we can't really control what is going to happen, but what we can control is these 24 hours, and it starts by setting a goal for these 24 hours.
Yes.
You know, and so I think that is one of the most powerful things of the goal, today's goal. What is your goal for today? It's to focus on the 24 hours and do what you can. And if you can't, it's okay. There's another 24 coming tomorrow.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the skill of not beating yourself for not doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because some people, they beat themselves all the time
Mm-hmm.
for all the failures
Mm-hmm.
they had, for all the mistakes they've done and things like that. So when you beat yourself for not doing something, it's quite negative.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is just like, okay, haven't done it today, just do it tomorrow. And actually what I was thinking to myself very often, why I haven't done it today?
Mm-hmm.
Did I set up for myself way too high goal for the day? Because sometimes it was. Like sometimes I knew, for example, my Wednesday is way too busy. Every Wednesday I go to Leeds and I have my coaching clients back to back. And then it's really long day as well. Every Wednesday is a really long day, no matter what week. And sometimes what I learned over the time, I would set up additional goal to actually just go through the day being positive, being calm, being centered, connected to myself. So I would add something else and I would go out of balance. So I learned usually my Wednesday is I'll go through my day being connected, deliver 100% to my clients, or if I have also told you in a day, I'll give 100% there. So it's something to do with the day rather an additional thing in a day.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good actually, just to learn how to stay more grounded
Mm-hmm.
when you already have such a busy day, because we have to be realistic. We got to be.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
Yeah.
got to be, yeah.
So yeah, it's a good category though.
Do you remember the day when this is funny, when we added the virtual husbands?
Yes, I remember that day.
That was interesting.
We added the virtual husbands. Yes, that's another category.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's almost similar to the goal after goal.
Yes.
As well, isn't it? It's that kind of like we're living our dreams but in the present.
Yes.
You know, because so often you think of oh, you know, I want to have this husband, or I want to have this lifestyle. Why not? Why is it so far out?
Yeah.
You know, why is it all the way? Why is it all the way there? Have you actually thought about what it would be like on a daily basis? You know, and so I guess on that basis of almost like relationship development, you know, what does it actually look like to have a husband on a daily basis? You know, what does that involve? What does that entail? You know. So yeah, that one was fun, and I feel like we both have very creative ways of spending our time with our, our husbands.
We are so different.
And we're so different. You know, the thing that made me laugh actually is that in the beginning, your outlook on husband and all that was so the opposite to mine. And I would like to think that we're at a point where we've switched. And now you were like how I was in the past, and I'm like how you were in the past, you know. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting how that has changed, how those roles have changed.
Yes, it's true. It's true. But it just shows how you develop yourself all the time. You grow, you change all the time. Nothing stays the same level, at the same length, or the same shape. Really, everything gets reshaped all the time. But I remember for me it was really fascinating actually to observe your journey, because you started from but what if I would have a husband, what would I do? And it was that situation where you actually face somebody who really don't know what they're gonna do, and I was like, come on, that's easy. But you were like, you really had to go into the body of, right, so if I would have a husband, what would that feel like? And I found it really fascinating actually watch your journey, how you went from I can't even see myself being married to with my husband would do this, and we have a day off, and then
sometimes I don't even want him anymore.
He's doing his own things,
and
you're doing
things, fine.
your own things, and then you have your evenings when you invite friends for parties and things like that. So, you know, it's really fascinating to see somebody else's journey when you see them growing from absolutely nowhere, and then now they're just grown somewhere far, and you think, wow, it's really spectacular, really, really spectacular. I really enjoyed that. I think that was one of those things which I really enjoyed watching about yourself. Definitely.
Thank you.
Because you went really, really far.
Yeah.
What else do we have?
I feel like there's something that's missing, but I feel like we've covered most bases.
We did cover the most basics.
Yeah, we start off with what was your amazing thing from yesterday.
Yes.
And then we have our 3 current gratitudes, and then our 4th gratitude is future gratitude, but in the present.
Yeah.
And then we move on to our goal for the day.
That's right.
And then what is our goal after we've achieved our primary goal.
That's right.
And then we move on to our money circulation, what we're going to do with all this money that we're constantly receiving. And then we move on to our fear. What is our biggest fear?
Yes.
I know the one we've forgotten. Okay, and then we do the
virtual husband.
The virtual husband, and then this is actually a very recent one. What is your request for the universe?
There we go. Yes.
Yes. So I know that the both of us are on our own kind of spiritual journeys, and I think that this is one of the things that we connected on, isn't it?
Yes.
On kind of like, okay, we go through this life thing. We have all these goals. We have all these manifestations that we're working on, but we always need help.
Yes.
We always need help, and I think we both connected on the fact that there is a higher power out there that is watching over us, that we can go to, that we can seek help for. Let's incorporate that into our daily routine. Let's incorporate that into our power mornings and into our kind of like verbal manifestation. And so that's how the birth of what is your request for the universe came about.
Sure.
And yeah, it's just basically having kind of like an intimate conversation with your spiritual self, and say, okay, this is what I need, this is the help that I need with whatever goal I'm working on.
Yeah.
You know?
Please help me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a task for you, universe. I'll do my work, but this is your work because I believe in your higher powers. Sometimes it's about attracting opportunities, it's about dealing with something, and it's of course it's something what can be done at that level. It's not about, please call my clients for me.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. But it's something what can be resolved and done at the higher level with a higher purpose. And you're right, that's quite recent. Maybe that's why I just went blank about that. Yeah, completely. But you're right, yes. And I must say the whole entire journey of these power mornings was really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Really fascinating. I'm definitely looking forward to the year 2, because today is officially our anniversary of having 1 year of Power Mornings, and I really hope actually many more people will be inspired by that, because did you say you start doing it with your friend as well?
Yes. So I've got a friend who's involved, and she absolutely loves it. She has her testimonies of how it just helps her with her day. So we do our Power Morning directly after hours on a Monday. And it's just once a week, but even just once a week, she's achieved so much, you know, and she's felt the power of it just with once a week of doing it, you know. So it's very, very good, actually. It's really, really good. Yeah,
definitely.
So I guess if we can encourage more people out there to do it, that would be great. Because I don't know, it's life changing if you think about it.
It is, yes, because it's almost like coaching every day. It is, because we are pushing each other about, come on, make your goal after goal juicier. What do you mean that's what's gonna happen? No. Make it better, make it sexier. And also, okay, are you sure you can deal with that fear like that? Or are you sure it's your fear? And things like that are really helpful. And it's done on daily basis. It's like half an hour intense coaching. So of course it's life-changing. Like, who on earth will not change if they do it every day? I don't know, because every day you face something what is within yourself, really deep inside. You talk about it, you verbalize it, because you know, some people struggle with even saying just one goal. And we have to say about the goal as already happened, and then about goal after goal. How many people can do that?
Yeah.
And we did 148 times.
Yep.
So many more times to come.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. That was pretty amazing. So hey, if you really want to do that, it's actually pretty straightforward.
Mhm.
Were you writing this all? Because when I was not walking, because when it was a dry day, I used to walk as well. So on a walk, I wasn't writing things down. But then when I was at home, if it was a raining day, I actually was writing down. Were you writing them?
Yeah, I do journal them. Yeah.
You see, you can write things down.
Yeah, exactly.
That's even more helpful.
Yeah, it works. It works very well.
There we go. So what you should do is actually, if you want to change your life, if you want to get better with your friends, find an accountability partner, because otherwise then you will wake up later, as we sometimes did, and there's nobody to call you to wake you up. But the beautiful thing is, we would call each other, right? And we would actually make sure one of us is there to push another to do that. Come up with questions. You don't have to copy us. It's our Power Morning. You can copy us if you want to, but come up with your own questions, whichever you choose to, and work on them, because that was so life-changing for ourselves. And I'm sure it will be life-changing for you too.
That's right, yes, I agree.
Thank you, Ishea, for being there for the entire year in my life.
Thank you for being there for an entire year of my life.
Oh, girl.